quick introduction. We're brand new streamer, brand new video content creator. It's just really more so for newer players and returning players. This isn't going to be a lot of new information if you're already at endgame, obviously. So it's kind of just a quick discussion on why you may want to be playing this game in 2025 going into 2026. Ton of new content. If you've played the game before and you left anywhere in the past 2 years, there's a ton of stuff for you to come back and for you to come do. This is my intro to it. This is going to be me just putting out some information on why I think it's really why I came back. Why I came back and everything that I've been doing since I've come back. So if you guys like it, excellent. But I'm not going to go into depth on every single type of companion you can get, the different Zaws and the kit guns, what arcanes really are and how you get every single one, and phosphor, and no spoilers on showing any of the new locations, no Sanctum Anatomica, no Deimos, no 1999, no Zeramin. I'm not going to be showing any of the new frames besides I don't know, I may slip up and just kind of show all of my characters, but yeah, it's going to be that sort of stuff. I'm not going to be going in depth into any missions. I'm not going to be going in depth into like what each quest is going to do. I'm going to briefly touch on the new war, but this is just a quick discussion. This is more like if I was to be talking to one of my friends and I'm introducing them to the game for the first time. So that's what this is going to be about. You guys feel free, give me some feedback if you want, and yeah, catch you on the other side. More videos to come. What's going on, guys? It's T3 Nimbus, Water T, TJK. I just wanted to come in and make a quick, actually it might not be quick, I'll just say that from now. It's gonna be a lot to talk about, but just wanted to come in and talk to you guys about a lot of stuff that's in the game of Warframe right now. It's in a really healthy place, and I'm a returning player myself. I left around 2019 whenever Railjack was about to come out, so I came back a couple months ago, probably around like June or July, and then I started streaming on Twitch and streaming on YouTube and trying to pump out shorts and videos and stuff. So it's going to be the first like full-length video. So if any of this is informative, definitely like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. Come find me on Twitch, join the Discord, so it's a bunch of like-minded people all playing the same games, and we can just form a little community. All that out the way, let's get into the topic. If you're new to Warframe, or if you're returning to Warframe, there's so much stuff to do. There's just so much stuff to do. You'll be in this game for forever. I've been playing, like I said, since like 2017, stopped in like 2019. You can kind of see from, if I go to my stats up here at the top, I've been playing the game for 584 hours. 24 like days accumulated playing straight through. Again, these numbers are a little inflated because for about almost 3 years now, it's been me just leaving my Xbox on or walking away from it or going to sleep or something. So it is still a ton of hours. It's definitely over like 450 hours probably, even with all the inflated numbers. So I played this game for a while. Definitely not the best, definitely not at end game. Like I said, there's just way too much to do in this game. Some people I know and some people that I watched on streams, some people that I played with, they've been playing since the beginning, and this game's been out for 13 years, so, or longer actually. So I don't know, there's just so much to do. So we're gonna get into this because if you are a new player or you're returning, the game it's a little bit overwhelming because they just give you access to everything little by little up until like MR3, MR5, and then they just open up everything to you. MR8 really gets you everything. So there's gonna be a couple guns locked, but you get pretty much everything. So first and foremost, what is MR? If we come up here if we go back to the profile, your MR is your mastery rank. It's going to show you a breakdown of pretty much just collecting stuff and leveling it up and getting experience with everything in the game. So if you see people that are MR30 or above, which now they have legendary rank, which wasn't in the game back then, I don't think, when I first left. Don't use that as an end-all be-all to how good someone is or how much knowledge that they have of the game. Some people will play the same 2 Warframes, 3 Warframes for the entire game. Some people won't go to Still Path. Some people won't build kit guns and MOAs and arc wings. So, take that with a grain of salt. But basically, this is a breakdown of basically saying how much stuff have you collected and how much stuff have you done. And you'll see that in your stats here. It'll show you which guns, Warframes, companions you've all unlocked. It'll also show you a breakdown of the type of missions you've done, your syndicates, all that stuff. So that's what MR is. I'm MR 21, which means I've done, I don't know, probably half, maybe a little bit more than half of the stuff that's in the game. Probably not with legendary rank now. So there's just a ton of stuff to do in the, in the sense of your guns, your Warframes. If you're looking at just Warframes, we have, I think, 61 or so Warframes now. We have a ton of, all of these are different characters you can play. Some of them are just going to be, a base version and a prime version. Like, for example, Hydroid. I have base Hydroid, and then I have Hydroid Prime. Some of them are going to overlap like that, but not all of them do, because you get primes usually years after the original frame comes out. So you have a crazy amount of, it tells you actually, 110 combined prime and non-prime frames. I have exactly half. You go to primaries, you have 185 different weapons that you can, you have to farm for, get the pieces for, get the resources for, build it, unlock it, and then actually get it up to the mastery rank, which is typically rank 30. Some weapons and things like that will go to rank 40. Anyway, 185 weapons here, 148 secondaries. You have 219 melees. You have 43 different companions and weapons. And you have sentinels, which are like the ones that fly around your head. You have the hounds, which are the robots that look kind of like dogs on 4 legs. You have the MOAs, which are robots but on 2 legs. You have, that's just for the robotic pets. Then if you go tab over again, you have your like beast companions, and that's going to be your Kubros, your Vulpaphilas, your Predicites, your Kavats, your Helminth Chargers. There's so much to do. Then you have your vehicles, like spoilers, you'll get a little hoverboard, you'll get a jetpack, and then you get these giant mechanical suits that you jump into. I'm MR21, like I've been saying, I still haven't done a single necromech. I haven't built one at all, ever. Then you have your guns and your melees for your arc wings, and then you have your amps, which are for your operator. I'll go into my profile one more time, actually. So you see on the left hand side in the pink, that's one of my Warframes. On the right, you have your operator or your drifter. That you get unlocked a little bit later in stories, 2 sides, sometimes even 3 sides to the same coin. I'm not going to go into it there. There's spoilers attached. You want to get into your quests. Speaking of quests, I still haven't even completed all the quests in the game. And if you're a new player, I think that's where you should start. You're going to get miscellaneous pieces for Warframes and weapons and mods and all that sort of stuff as you go on. But I think it's really important that you do the quest. So you'll get into your quest through the codex. That's going to pop up the first thing. Brand new, or not brand new, but prominently displayed will be your main quest, then your quests for you to collect Warframes, and then your side quests. Side quests kind of just tie into main quests, and sometimes there are prerequisite for you to do a little side mission so you understand the full story before you can progress to the next full main quest. But you have a good amount of quests here. They're all extremely gorgeous, like beautiful cinematics. It is really, really good missions. They all tell a story. They're all a little confusing too. Like, you just jump into the story. They don't give you, some of them narrate it, you have to see it for yourself. I can't even get into it. The new war is going to be your biggest hurdle. You're in the beginning of the game all the way up until you do the new war. Everyone's going to say, oh, you got to do still path and all that. When you get to the new war, you have an understanding of the game. You have an understanding of all the mechanics that go into the game. For the most part, you should have explored most worlds. You know, this is where the you kind of open up into middle and end game. It's kind of crazy to say that with all this content ahead of it, but this is just the beginning of the game. You're just kind of learning. You're going through the story, and these are kind of giving you reasons to go to these new places. No spoilers there. We'll go into separate missions and each world and what they offer in separate videos. But what I mean by each world, if you're a returning player, you know what I mean. This is the star chart. But if you're new, this is the star chart. It's basically all these different worlds, different areas you can go to, different moons and planets and systems and abandoned ships and just different civilizations. Each one, when you pop into it, this is on Still Path, actually. I'm getting ahead of myself. Each one, when you jump into it, it'll take Earth, for instance. We'll have a bunch of different missions and mission types and places that you can go. Mobile defense, defense, open world free roam, excavation, sabotage. In your arc wing, you'll have to do a mobile defense mission. You have a relay, which is where you get into some of the syndicate stuff, which was what we'll talk about in a minute. But there's so much to do in this game, and there's just on this one planet you have a ton of different mission types to go to. Then you have a ton of planets. You have a ton of things you can do on planets. Not everything's the same. You're not going to only find defense and survival and mobile defense on every world. You're going to have more on some worlds, less on some, and you're going to have mission types that you're not going to see altogether on some maps. Everything gives you a little bit of something different, though. So you have your resources, and for an example, I'll just go to my resource drones, which are, you get to a point where you can send out little drones for you that'll go collect some of the resources on these planets. So let me actually go throw all of those back out right now. But if you come here, it'll tell you over here on the side, these are the main source blueprints and resource that you get here. Your blueprints that you're going to build for warframes and weapons are going to need these components, and some of them mix and match across planets, but you're going to have to get some from every single planet. So you have to be every single mission on every single world. Every moon, everything that has a name, you have to go around and beat. There's going to be open world areas on Earth, in the plains of Eidolon, and it's matching kind of hub world, which is Cetus. Same thing for Venus. You're going to have the Orb Vallis, which is the open world, and Fortuna, which is its hub world. Then you're going to have Deimos, which does the same thing. Right now it's the event, which is about to end actually today. We have 24 hours left to go do this event. But then this goes back to just saying Deimos and not Deimos, the Necrolisk, and the Cambrian Drift is the open world attached to the Necrolisk hub area. You have Sanctum Anatomica, which is a hub world. 1999, a whole bunch of stuff. I don't want to show everything because it's going to get into spoilers, but if you know, you know. So that's just the stuff to do on this map. All right, once you beat every single one of these individual nodes, you get access to Steel Path, which is going to be these same mission types but plus 100 in everybody's level. You get extra resources from these, but it's much harder. So then you're gonna have to go around, and for an example, like I don't have anything on Saturn unlocked on Steel Path, so you have to go around and do everything. And some of the nodes change a little bit, like it might have been a capture before, now it's a survival, so they do change up a little bit. But then you have access to do all of these in a much harder difficulty that gives you different bonuses and different rewards. You also fight mini bosses inside of most missions after a certain time point or reaching a certain threshold. Those are called acolytes. If I'm decent at editing by this point, I'll put up I'll put gameplay of the acolytes in between here. But they're basically like stalkers, which is part of the quest that you'll find, and they're like anti-warframes, like evil type warframes, basically. A little bit stronger than your normal enemies, and they have abilities and things that they can use besides just guns and things like that. So it gets a little bit more difficult, and you're doing that in mission while you're still doing your objective and everything else. So added layer of risk, but added layer of rewards as well, and you're going to get special drops and things like that. From all of these, you're going to farm some more than others just because it's easier to get resources, or because it's an endless mission like a defense, which will just go until you decide to stop, and the enemies will just keep increasing in level the whole time. Oh yeah, or you could do something more focused where you're farming them for a reason. And there's going to be certain types of missions that drop certain things, like spy missions will drop parts for Ash, or capture missions, or go do certain assassinations. On most of these worlds, there's going to be an assassination mission. There we go. Took me a second to find it, but so for assassination, there's going to be these on pretty much every world, and these are like an end of or mid-world boss fight, which will have special mechanics and things like that. There'll be videos for each boss fight a little bit separately later on, but there's a ton of stuff to do. So you have just the missions, you have replayability to farm parts, you have replayability to get the resource for parts, you do all of the quests, you do all of the separate missions, you get to every planet, you then can do them on an upgraded harder mode, which gives you access to other things too. So as soon as you beat every single node, you get access to arbitrations. Arbitrations are random game modes that'll have bonuses if you use a certain warframe or certain weapons. You can see the bonuses here. It'll give you extra stats and extra abilities, strength and extra damage. You also get some credits for doing each one, but these are usually endless, or I think they always are endless mission types, so you can just stay in them for as long as you want and get as many as you want. You get these things called Vitus essences as rewards, but you also get them as drops when you beat, there's a certain enemy in the mission that are drones that fly around, and they protect and they shield everyone else, and when you break them down, they have a chance of dropping these Vitus essences. These Vitus essences are then used to go to a relay. You'll go to a relay and you'll bring it to one of the vendors who's going to have things called arbitration honors. What the arbitration honors do is they let you unlock special mods. These are called galvanized mods. That's what's going to take your base warframes, your base for your base warframes, your base weapons, all that stuff. It's going to take it to the next level. So if I go here, let me go to syndicates and arbiters of Hexus, back out here, and if you come to the front here, these two guys are going to have something for you. Come here to the arbitration honors, and you're going to see that they're going to have some really good mods that you're going to need anyway. But they're also going to have ephemeras, which we didn't even talk about yet for fashion. They're going to have ribbons, which we haven't talked about yet, which are very, very special mods that are applicable to only one very specific weapon in the game, not a type of weapon like you're seeing here, because this one says it's available to be put on all shotgun mods. You'll see that at the bottom. Get some decorations. You get arcanes, which are new to the game, wasn't there when I left, and then you also get some additional mods down here, more ephemeras. What's special about these galvanized mods is that typical mods will give you a flat bonus, and it'll say, hey, you're getting 100% extra damage. This one is going to give you a specialized category, and it's going to scale higher and higher as you get more kills or you do whatever the requirement is. So, like, for example, on your melee weapon, you can put this mod on. It's going to give you plus 80% status damage flat. It's just gonna, as soon as you put the mod on, it's gonna put that on your weapon. But then every time you get a kill, your status chance is gonna go up by plus 30 4 times. So you kill 4 enemies, you now have plus 120 status chance on your weapon, and now you have 80 extra status damage, which of course benefits each other, because plus status chance means you're always going to be applying status, and that status is always going to be doing 80% extra damage now. Arcanes are specialized components that you're going to put into your Warframe slots, and they're going to give you special bonuses. Like this one is, you get a headshot while you're using a pistol. You have a 60% chance to get 102 ammo efficiency for 12 seconds, which is crazy. That means you don't use ammo. You shoot someone in the head, 60% chance that your next 12 seconds of shooting will be completely for free, and they won't drain a single bullet from your gun. So they're powerful like that. Some give flat base damage, some give base damage to specific weapons. Like you get a melee kill, this one gives you plus 300% extra weapon damage to your primary weapon, but it's a 30% chance of activating. So you see how this is starting to get crazy. And we didn't even talk about the base mods yet. That also gets into syndicates, since I'm already right here. Syndicates are basically, I'd say it's kind of like Warframe's first version of a battle pass. What you do is, let me talk to this guy here actually. This is a bad example because I don't have this guy ranked up. We'll go back to the ship for this actually. We'll go back to the ship and I'll show you there. But at least that shows you what a relay is and what you can do at a relay. And there's 6 of those guys in the syndicate that'll all have offerings. Your syndicates are extremely important. This is where you're going to get a lot of absolutely just completely free loot. You get free weapons, you get free fashion, you get, free augment mods, which is the main reason that you're doing these syndicates here, your primary syndicates. As you can see from the tab, you have so many different syndicates across so many different areas of Warframe, and you have to level them up individually. So let's take parent sequence for example. You go from, let's build a brighter future, level 0, completely neutral. You can lose some standing by, because they're all kind of competing with each other on your primary standing. So you can lose some if you're part 1, so on and so forth. That'll go into a separate, more in-depth syndicate video. But you level up your syndicates, you get to level 5 as quick as you can. These are our best deals. You level that up just by doing your mission. You pledge to one, you say, hey, yep, I'm gonna basically promote you everywhere I go. And every time you do a mission, you get standing with them, you get some reputation with them. But yeah, they drop certain things like very specific weapon attachments and weapon mods. You can get some weapons here. You can get specters, which are free floating NPCs that you just drop them in a mission and they start to attack and do things for you, which is really cool. Then you have augments, which, as you can see, there's a ton of them. Every Warframe has anywhere from 1 to 5 augments right now. They just do a lot. They change the game of how you play. I could go into examples, but again, just keep this quick. You want to try and get as many of these as you can because it'll affect how you do your builds. You get a Warframe, it's going to have abilities, and you're going to want to use those abilities. But as soon as you kind of understand their playstyle, you might not like their playstyle. These augments allow you to change one of their abilities at a time, or sometimes they go in conjunction with each other, and it'll change how you play a character. Just as a quick example, if you put for Citrine, Citrine has an augment where she throws out a gem, put the gem in the middle of wherever you want it, and it puts out a radius where you're going to be allowed to just do status damage continuously to enemies that walk by and that start shooting you. Her augment then changes that from a stationary gem that you place on the ground and it forms a radius to being able to be attached to your walking companion. So wherever you go, the companion follows you. which now means that the gem follows you. So you're doing status damage and a radial effect everywhere around you, no matter where you go. So it changes it from being something that you want to use on like defense missions or stationary missions into something that you can take into any mission type. It changes the way you play these, and it offers you different play styles. You're gonna have your configurations on these. If you're returning, you already know, but if you're new and you have a Warframe, you're gonna have your mods. Your mods are gonna affect the stats on the side, from your health, your shield, your armor, your energy, your sprint speed, down to things that affect the abilities that you cast, like how long they last in your duration, how much it costs to cast them, and your efficiency, how large the radius or the cone is, or the range is, just range. So it's that you can use this for your range stat, or then your strength on how powerful each ability is, or what percentage bonus it's going to grant you. Here's also where you can slot in those arcanes that we talked about earlier, which will give you bonuses. Right now I have some slotted in to give me extra melee damage because I'm playing a melee based Warframe, and arcane battery because I have a lot of armor, which is also going to lead to give me a lot of energy, so I can use my abilities a lot more. And I don't have to worry about efficiency because I have a ton of energy now. But you have 3 slots up here, so you can mix and match and change these as you want. So if I'm running augments, and I have 2 on right now, if I wanted to change it up and run 2 different ones, or just 1, or it'll completely change how you're modding these, and it'll be something just different. You want to experiment with them for sure. That's why you want to level up your syndicates, but your syndicates are not just your primaries. You also have your open world syndicates on Earth, on Venus, in the Necrolisk on Deimos, in the Chrysalis on Zeramin, 1999, the Hex in 1999, and Conclave and Cephalon Samaris in the Relays. I missed one actually. You have these for the Necrolisk, but it's kind of split between Sanctum Anatomica and the true Necrolisk, which is the beginning of Deimos. Just want to put that out there for just to make sure, because these are different worlds or different areas that you're going to go to, different worlds. So we talked about some areas where you can get Warframes, but then there's also Prime Warframes, which you can get from other players just by, buying and selling items through the market. And I recommend you go to warframe.market, create an account. That'll be a separate video, but it's very helpful. Do that as early as you can and start looking at what you can buy and sell there. You can buy mods, you can buy parts, and so you'll see that, I mentioned in that codex screen, you have base frames and then you have prime frames. So if I go here to, if I wanted to change it, these are all mostly primes. But for example, there's like Limbo or Loki. There's no Loki Prime right here. Or Noko. There's no Noko Prime. There's a Nyx Prime, a Necros Prime, a Mirage Prime. These are all going to be slightly higher in stats than their base counterparts. So the base counterparts are usually a little bit easier to farm, because you can only get primes one of 2 ways, which is unlocking them yourself from relics. Relics are a drop that you're going to get from pretty much all mission types, but certain ones will drop very specifically from certain areas. You can also buy them with points from your syndicates. It's everything kind of is intertwined. But you're here you're going to see that they can drop different pieces, like for Caliban Prime or for Compressor Prime, at different drop rates. So these that are more generic or less valuable, or more common, these are going to drop more often. You can see that indicated by the bronze bar here. Then you're going to have this silver bar, which it's going to tell you can level them up too, so you can increase your chances. But at your base rank, you have such a high chance, like over 50%, to get one of these 3. Then you're going to have like a 15-20% chance to get one of these 2, and then like a 5 to 10% chance to get this last one up here. So you're going to run these a ton, and you see that you're going to stack up a bunch of these. There's different rarities. You take them into different mission types, and you find those mission types by going here and tabbing over until you get to the Void Fissures tab, You do these fissures, they're just special types of missions. It'll tell you who you're fighting, so you can prepare and you can use your different elements that do more or less damage to each one. And yeah, you just go in there with a group and you get a chance to get their relics or a chance to get one of the relics that you were able to open up doing the requirement in these missions. So you have relics you can do these separate missions which will level up your syndicate, primary syndicate, even further. You have the syndicates that you can do on each overworld. You have these invasions which will give you certain drops that you can't get anywhere else, like a Dara Vandal or the weapon called the Sheave, and it'll drop certain parts here. You have your events that happen every single, I'd say every month-ish. They come around, and there's always something you can do as a community and with larger groups to get them to complete certain objectives and get certain rewards. You have all of your quests, which again I haven't even completed all of the quests. I still have a couple Warframes that I need to get. You have your arbitrations. You can go do the weekly IHN treasure hunt to get statues, which is a whole different thing. We'll talk about that later when we go into the specifics of mods and endo. You have Clem, which has its own rewards, nightmare missions, Kuva missions to get Kuva and other rewards. There's just a ton of stuff that you can do. You have Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, and you can go do kind of hunter type spy missions to go scan and get information for Cephalon Samaris and level up his syndicate. The Void Fishers we talked about. Then you get sorties. Sorties, this is like a more introduction to middle game sort of content. You're going to have higher levels, and you're going to have very specific mission types that are all going to have very specific conditions. Like, you can only use a secondary weapon. That's it. That's the only weapon that you can use when you go fight these level 80 to 100 enemies in a rescue mission. So these are a little bit harder, but you can see on the side they're going to give you some different rewards, and some of them are really good, just like catalyst and reactor blueprints, which you're going to need to double the capacity on all your Warframes. Again, separate video. There's too much to go into detail on how you would do that, and if you're a returning player, you're not going to need that information here. But do your sorties. You also have your Archon hunts. You have Elite Temporal Archimedia and Elite Deep Archimedia, which are a little bit more into the end of the middle game, beginning of end game sort of things you can do, but they're very similar to those game modes where they're extremely niche, extremely specific types. So that's just all the base star chart stuff. It's just everything you can do from this screen and kind of walking around your orbiter, right? You go to all of these missions, you go to each of the open worlds, you upgrade all of your syndicates, you buy everything possible, and you start making all these different builds from the Warframes and the weapons that you acquire along the way that you decide to go farm for specifically. You're going to get a ton of resources from doing all these stuff. It's a lot of passive grinding, and these all sort of link together. But then there's more. You then have Railjack, and Railjack is where I stopped playing Warframe back in 2019. This basically lets you board a very large ship, and in that ship, let me go to it now actually. In that ship, you're gonna have another star chart of missions that are only applicable to your big ship, and you have guns and stuff that you can shoot. You have a crew that walks around and helps you build things that you have to go get your crew together. And then you take this and you go around to all these different brand new nodes all around the map in all these different areas, and you level stuff up and you farm more resources. And again, there's even brand new resource that you can only get here. There's parts you can only get here. It's absolutely crazy. You have actual intergalactic fights with other big warships. So you're already a space ninja. You're already a ton of variety with the amount of weapons you can get, melee, secondary, primary, with the amount of Warframes that you can get, 60 plus now, base Warframes plus their variants for their prime variants. You have all the open world stuff, you have all your syndicates, and then you come here and you fight giant ships in the middle of space. So it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. You're gonna want to eventually go to your dojo, and your dry dock for your railjack is going to be in your dojo. Your dojo is important too. You're going to want to get a dojo as soon as you can in the game, or if you're returning, you're going to want to find a dojo. Simple, just go to if there's any streamer that you really like, see if they have a Discord first. See if they have a Discord and a clan, and that way you're going to already be in a community that you like with other people that you like. If you don't, then just go to clan chat, you hit start, you'll open up your chat features. You'll come over here to region chat or the recruiting chat, and you'll just say, hey, I'm looking to join a clan. Does anyone have any invitations? And somebody will give you an invitation to their clan. Once you're in your clan, this is the giant ship, by the way. This is what I've been flying around and doing, intergalactic war with. So this is separate from the orbiter that you have at base. Then you have your dojo, which, as you can see from this wheel of things to do, there's a crazy amount of stuff to get from just your dojo. You're going to be able to trade. So when I was saying you can buy and trade Warframe parts, you can do that here in your dojo, or in a very specific place in the star chart called Maru's Bazaar. And you're also going to have, the ability to build it and decorate it. Not everyone's dojo is going to look like this. This is just one of the areas. You're also going to have your where is it? Your research labs. You have so many different research labs here, and each one of these are going to give you different things. Here you can get the blueprints for Degath, which is one of the newer-ish Warframes. You can get some of their weapons. Also, the area just looks cool. This is all in your dojo. I didn't go anywhere else. I'm still in my dojo. Here, Biolab. Same thing. You have all of these different things you can get. But your clan has to be good. They have to work together, compile their resources, and that allows you to build these different rooms that give you access to all these different things. This is a companion. You can come right in here and get a second companion. You know what I mean? Get all of these weapons. And it costs credits, but it's nearly free. It doesn't cost any standing. You don't have to level anything up with it. You just have to come here as a group and come together, and then everyone has access to these things. So there's a ton of Warframes you can get from here. Probably like up to 8 or 9 Warframes, maybe even 10 that you can get just from the dojo. Neja, Wukong. Obviously we just saw Degath. There's a few more. So I'd say anywhere from like 6-ish to 10. There are a crazy amount of weapons that you can get from here. It's crazy. So you're going to do this, but then every world has, in their syndicates, they also sell weapons and stuff. So we just talked about the augment mods you can get there. You go back to all your syndicates, they sell weapons. They sell parts for different companions. So there's months and months and months of content to do just by doing all the quests, trying to grab as many Warframes as you can, learning how they play, modding them differently, going around to the different worlds, and then applying the mods and the resources and the weapons that you get to your Warframe. So it becomes more fun, or you find easier ways of doing the farming. There are also extremely specific missions sprinkled throughout, like Saya's Vision or Tiana's Pass, where you can farm these up to get a pity system to get certain newer Warframes as well. Like here's where you'll get Komue, and you get resources, very specific resources you can only get in this mission. You're going to do that a number of times, and if you don't get the pieces that you need from farming it for their blueprint, you can use that resource as a pity system and go buy their resources, go buy their blueprints later on. Railjack, syndicates, all that stuff. But then you also have Duviri, which has multiple pieces within just Duviri as well. This is definitely a much slower pace of game, but it also has similar elements to like sorties or temporal archimedia, where they're going to give you a random build. You have a couple options you can pick from, but they're just going to give you builds, different weapons, different warframes. So the more that you've armed up and took the time to build and took the time to collect, the better it's going to be, because then you can come into any of these missions and you're going to do well because you have a good gun, you have a good weapon, you have a good melee. The lone story is pretty much just explaining, you'll do the quest to get here, but then this is pretty much just playing them. You know, I'm not even going to explain these each one. There'll be a separate Duviri one, but there's so many things to do here. You have boss fights in the Duviri experience, where at the end you fight the Oral Worm as a major collaborative boss fight. You have Isle Weaver, where you'll fight Araxia, which is one of the newer Warframes, and actually the newest one besides Noko, where you can fight her, get the chance to get pieces so that you can collect her. She's a spider Warframe. And then you can also fight the fragmented one at the end. So these three, you use your operator, drifter, that second person that I showed you a little bit earlier. In Isle Weaver, you use the Warframe itself, but you're still in the world of Duviri, so it's a major change up from how these first three operated. Again, they all drop similar pieces, but each one will also drop very specific pieces, so there's a reason to do each of these separately. So you have to farm up all of these individually. So there's a lot of grinding in this game. To grind, there's so many options to grind. You don't have to just come here and do one of these, you know, 10, 12 missions that are on this screen. No, you have 10, 12 missions times, you know, 14, 15 different planets and areas. Then you have the 3 to 4 different open worlds. And you have just going back to farm them to get warframes, going back to farm them to get weapons, doing your syndicates, doing your arbitrations, doing your sorties, doing your Kuva missions, doing your nightmare missions, doing the Archon hunts, doing temporal archimedia, doing deep archimedia, doing railjack, doing Duviri. There's so much stuff to do in this game. That's really the major reason why I made this video. I don't want this video to go too long. I'll have to go into individual things later, like incarnate weapons, which are enhanced versions of your weapons that have special abilities. Tenokai, which is a special type of melee, just interaction. It's a new mechanic that they've added. We'll go into specifically what the different things do and where you get certain drops and what each Warframe does and Warframe builds. We'll get into all that at a later time, because I have a good amount of stuff. I don't have everything. There's a ton of people who have more stuff than me and who are better than me. But, you know, I have a good amount of Warframes. A lot of them are built really well. We can go over fashion frame for a lot of them too. And yeah, so that'll be it for this video. There's so much to go over, and you'll see that as these videos roll out, as we start going over, you know, not just talking about overall, hey, you can kind of just do all these missions. Now, here's what these specific missions do. Here's what you're going to get from them. Here's the best way to do them, or an efficient way to do them. And then we're going to come together and we're going to make some good builds. That way, everyone who is new or who is returning just like me, we're going to have a community of people who are going to be able to come together and, you know, want to do the same mission types and want to go farm for the stuff, because we're not all just end game people who have everything. So if you're into that, definitely join up, sub, like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube, Twitch stuff. I have a TikTok, Instagram, all the social medias. You'll find me at T3 Nimbus, but the descriptions are going to be in links that you can find on all my pages. We have a Discord that's brand new, but it's going to be growing very soon. So if you want to get in early, start dropping builds, get some eligibility to become a mod super early, because I'll need some help with that, and definitely jump in and do that. You'll see a little bit more of my dog if you guys jump in and stream on Twitch, YouTube. I try to do it 2 or 3 times a week, so you guys will see me there. This is Obi, my Frenchie, so you guys will see him a little bit more. And yeah, if there's anything specifically that people want to go over, because this is a, you know, it turned into a longer video, but this is, you know, 30 to 45 minutes of me just talking about the general overview of things you can do in the game. When you get into the specifics and you start talking about the Coda Liches that you can go out and fight, You start talking about the differences in the assassination missions. You go into the very specific farming methods for, there's just so much to do. Talking about the quests, going over the quests, teaching you guys how to do them if you're getting stuck. We didn't even talk about the different types of mods like Archon mods. We didn't go into Rivens. There's so much to do. So if you guys are interested, let me know. Comments, let me know what you guys are trying to see so I can eliminate those videos first. We'll slowly start going over everything. And feedback is always appreciated. So anything I can do better, let me know. Anything I'm doing well, also let me know. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks.